Okay guys, welcome back to Train Simulator 2016. Today I'm going to go into drive and career mode, and we're going to look at the East Coast Main Line, London to Peterborough. One I like the look of there is morning commute to Stevenage, about 35 minutes. Following a period of intensive testing on the East Coast Main Line, the Class 801 has now been introduced into revenue earning service. This morning you'll be driving one of these new units from Bounds Green to King's Cross before taking a Leeds bound service as far as Stevenage. So that's the train, looks very nice I must say. So let's hit start, because it will take a while to load. These scenarios do take a little while to load on Train Simulator. If you're patient they do get there. It seems a terribly long time when you're sitting watching it, but it's probably a matter of seconds, maybe a minute or so. And you get to look at pretty screens whilst it's loading. They're advertising a sale at the moment on some of the DLCs. Till 12th of February 2016 at 6 PM, so that's about 3 more days. So I may well be having a look there to see what routes and trains are going at a bit cheaper price. There's a new train, a BR Class 40. BR was the old days of British Rail. In the UK we now have various private companies like Virgin and East Coast and so on who run the trains. Can get confusing when buying tickets if your route involves more than one operator. There's another BR train there. So there we go. We're at the Bounds Green depot by the look of it. And it's going to want us to go from here down into London to King's Cross. So this train does look rather nice, I've got to say. So good morning driver, following a delay whilst preparing the train, you're now running slightly late, fantastic. You'll need to proceed to King's Cross as quickly as possible due to your departure time of 05:50, and it's now 05:36, so we've got like 13-14 minutes to get there, get passengers on and get going. So it might be a bit tight, but we'll see. So let's put our reverser into forward, acknowledge the warning, and we'll start moving. We're in a 10-mile-an-hour limit, so we're not going to be able to do a lot coming out of here. But there is a 20 coming up soon. In a 10-mile-an-hour limit you can go up to 10.9 basically. If you hit 11 you'll start losing points for speeding. So I'll really try not to do that, but it does happen unfortunately. But I'll try not to do it. So we're heading towards the 20 now. You can see I'm keeping us running around 10 miles an hour in this limit. And hopefully we'll be going into the 20 shortly. There's a sensor there which is, that ping indicates that the signal is green, which in fact we can clearly see it is. So we're now in the 20, so I'm going to accelerate up towards 20. We're then going into a 35 but then back down to a 25. So let's try and get up to about 20. Here we go. So we'll leave it about there. And we should be coming into the 25 very shortly. So we're changing track here I think. Getting out onto the sort of main track to go straight down towards London. We're now in the 25, so I'm going to accelerate a little bit. Okay, there we go. We obviously need to get to King's Cross as quickly as the speed limits will allow. So another green signal coming up, so that's good news. And we're now into a 60-mile-an-hour speed limit. So I'm going to go up to maximum acceleration and try and get up to 60 as quickly as possible. Get us to King's Cross and pick up our passengers to go back to Stevenage. This is a route I know very well, having commuted into London from Peterborough for a number of years. got a terribly good reputation. In the old days there always used to be lots of delays. I think it's better now. And the other big gripe with passengers is always season ticket prices, of course. They seem to go up every year. You usually see on the TV news that people are complaining bitterly about the increase in prices. So we're doing about 60 and it looks like we're coming up on a 40. The scrolling bar at the bottom is showing that there's a 40 coming up. It's about 1.4 miles away. So we'll be getting there soon, so I'm not going to bother to accelerate too much at the moment because we're going to need to be slowing anyway for that 40-mile-an-hour limit. So we'll keep running in the 50s, perhaps just give it a little bit, just keep us up near 60 before we slow down. We should be coming up on another sensor. Here we go. Yeah, another green signal. So if the signal is double yellow, single yellow or red on our line, we will get a warning and have to acknowledge it. Obviously if it's red we need to stop. If we pass a red signal, the scenario will come to a very sudden end. Passing a signal at danger is something you just don't do. So let's start slowing down now, because we're coming up on this 40-mile-an-hour limit by the look of things. So I'll let it coast down here. This minimum braking should get us down to 40 by the time we get there, hopefully. Might need a little more. That should certainly do it. If we get down to about 41, that's fine. There we go, 40 point odd will be perfect. So it looks like we're changing track again to get out to that main track out there. You can see that board indicated 40 to the right, which is where we're going, so we're now in that 40-mile-an-hour limit. There's a warning board there for a 45 limit. I don't see that anywhere on our scrolling display at the bottom. Looks like the next one we go into is actually a 60. All 65 at the moment it says. So let's accelerate upward. It does look like we're going into a 60, so I'm not going to go beyond 60. And then we're coming to a 35, 45 and then 15 going into King's Cross. So we do need to be a bit careful about our speed down here. Another green signal, so at least signals are green at the moment. So we're now coming into a 60, running at about 52, but we need to be slowing down to 35. So there's a 35 limit coming up, so let's try and do that. And once we get down to 35 we can probably stay at that to run through to the 15. Okay, so 35 is roughly where we are. You can see when we're coasting the speed is actually increasing, so we're obviously running slightly downhill. So I'm going to make sure that we're not going too fast. And there's a warning. We have a double yellow by the look of it. Now we need to get down to 15 miles an hour. Okay, so we need to, when we get to King's Cross, let the passengers on and then change ends of the train. And I'll show you how we do that. I'm down to 15 miles an hour now. So these are the tunnels a little bit before King's Cross. If you travel this line at all, you'll know these tunnels only too well. sometimes get stuck in here for a little while waiting for a train to vacate a platform at King's Cross, but hopefully we're not going to have those sorts of problems now. We can see I'm regulating the speed around about 14 point odd as we roll into platform 6. There's a train on its way out there, and we are now coming into King's Cross platform 6. So we need to pick up passengers here once we come to a stop, and then we can get ourselves moving, heading for Stevenage. That said, departure time was 5:50 and it actually looks like we're going to be early, so we may have to sit waiting at King's Cross for a while, which will be a bit frustrating, but not much we can do. We've actually got here early. That being the case, I'm not going to worry about going any faster. We'll just start braking now and get ourselves down towards 0 before we reach the buffers at the end of the platform. Lady there, not sure she's waiting for us. She's got a coffee in her hand, or tea I suppose. Okay, so let's just roll forward a little bit further. I think that will do us. So we'll come to a halt there, and we'll open the doors. So that's the inside view. Trying to spin round. Looks like that's about as far as we can go. So let's have a look outside. So you can see the doors are open. Doesn't seem to be anybody getting on from what I can see. But we've got about 4 minutes before we'll be leaving King's Cross, so hopefully that will go by fairly reasonably. I say I've commuted on this line for several years from Peterborough. Previously to that I lived down in Oxfordshire and commuted in from there whilst working in London. I must say I don't think they ever had trains like this when I was commuting. You can actually see the driver moving in his cab if you look just to the left. Look through the windscreen of the train if you like, and you can see the driver there. And we're now under 3 minutes before we can go. So we did quite a good job of getting here in time to be able to take this train out. Now we are currently at the far end of the train. We're in the cabin at the other end, so we need to change over. So by clicking this, you should move to the end of the train, theoretically. So let's have a look. You see we're not... that's better, there we go. So go to the internal view and click that button and it switches you to the cab at the other end. So you can now see that we're looking out of King's Cross. We've got a green signal in front of us. Still about 2 minutes before we can leave. But we have got a green signal there, so we'll be on our way as soon as we get, hopefully, to 5:50. So there's a train coming in to our left. King's Cross is a very busy station. The whole area of King's Cross in London has been, how can one put it, revamped, upgraded, whatever you want to call it. So it's not quite as bad an area, I suppose you could say, as it used to be. Very pleasant outside the station now. And the station itself had a bit of a makeover as well. But it is a very busy station. There are lots of trains going in and out of King's Cross. There's a line that runs to Peterborough, which is a line we'll be on as far as Stevenage. And there's also a line that runs to Cambridge Way, up from there. Cambridge, you can get trains which go to either Liverpool Street or King's Cross, depending on where in London you want to end up when you get there. Fast trains now from Peterborough get to King's Cross in less than an hour, so you can often pick up a train that does the journey in about 55 minutes, unless you get one of course that stops at every station, in which case it's going to be a bit longer. It's pretty good service, I think. 55 minutes Peterborough to London doesn't seem bad. So we're in a 15-mile-an-hour limit coming out of Peterborough. Coming out of King's Cross for a while until we hit the 45. So it's 15 through the gasworks tunnel, which is in front of us. So we're almost at 550 now. Once we are, the doors will close automatically and the guard should signal that we're okay to leave. So there's the doors closing. Okay, so I guess we're ready to go. I didn't hear a signal from the guard, but not to worry. So let's head out of King's Cross now. Our first instruction is go via Potter's Bar, platform 3. So we need to go through there, but we don't need to stop because it's a go via. I'm not going too fast. There we go. That signal just changed to green. So I was being fairly careful that we didn't have to stop at the red signal, but I think we're okay now. Okay, so 15 point odd will be fine. But we're coming towards this 45-mile-an-hour speed limit. Not sure how many stops we need to do between here and Stevenage, but you can always check the task list. So we go via Potter's Bar and then pick up passengers at Stevenage, so in fact there are no stops. So it's going to be, hopefully, fairly quick run straight up to Stevenage. But we'll see. That of course assumes there'll be no red signals, and obviously we can only go as far as fast as speed limits allow. So we're coming out of the gasworks tunnel now. Now to ping them from the train protection warning system indicating the next signal is green. Okay, here we go. So we're into the 45 now, so I'm going to speed up. Got to maximum acceleration. We should be able to pass this train that's coming in. Good morning. And we're speeding. There we go, that's better. Sorry about that. I literally touched 46 for a second. Not to worry. So we had 400 points and we're now down to 396. So it only cost us 4 points. So not the end of the world. We're now in a 65. So let's try accelerating up towards that. This train does seem to accelerate very quickly. A very nice train, I have to say. There's another one coming in. There's an 801 going into King's Cross. So we're just coming up on 65, which is the current limit, but it looks like we're going into an 80. So once we do that, we'll go for maximum acceleration again. There we go. We're now in the 80, and that's going to be followed by a 90. So, as I suspected, should be a fairly fast straight run with a bit of luck. A lot of trains out of King's Cross do run non-stop to Stevenage, as they do going in. Unless you get a slow train, you generally won't stop after Stevenage until King's Cross, in my experience. So we're in the 80 now and coming to the 90, there we go. and then there's a 95 to follow that. It is quite a fast line. So make sure you stick around 90. This line improved greatly with electrification. In the old days of diesel trains running on this line, and it was very slow at times, had lots of problems, but since they've electrified it and brought in new rolling stock like the one we're in today, things have improved immeasurably. So we're in the 95 now, so we're going to keep it at 95 point odd. Again, a ping for a green signal, so that's good news. Morning, hello. That looked like a Virgin West Coast train to me. I'm heading into King's Cross. So we're in the 95 and we're coming into 100 mile an hour speed limit. So we are really going to be getting a wiggle on in 100 mile an hour. Should enable us to reach Stevenage without too much trouble, I hope. Hello! Another train on its way into Stevenage. Oh, sorry, into King's Cross. You see how busy King's Cross is? Very busy lines running into King's Cross. Through another tunnel now. I'm not sure if we've passed Bounds Green as yet, where we started out. Possibly we have. We're in the 100 mile an hour now, so we'll get some acceleration on. So now we're coming towards 115 speed limit. So you can see it is a really fast line here. And we're not stopping at any stations prior to Stevenage. We do have a go via instruction for Potter's Bar, which I haven't seen as yet. So we're around 100 for the moment, and then we're going to go up to 115 very shortly. See the sign for it there. So once the back of our train is through like that, we can now go up to 115. Potter's Bar is in Hertfordshire, which also Stevenage is in Hertfordshire. So I don't think Stevenage will be a million miles from where we are. We're about 4 miles from Potter's Bar, so we should be there fairly soon, doing 115 miles an hour. It's only going to take about 2 minutes. So we'll keep our speed around about the 115 mark. Good. We need to keep our ears open and eyes open for the warning board in case we pass through any sensors that say signals or anything other than green, but they're all green so far. So this is one of the easier scenarios, certainly, but if you get on to some of the more difficult ones where you're following, say, a late running train in front or something, you can get lots of signals that are not green. That's obviously more of a challenge, which is why they're rated as harder scenarios to do. So we're about 2 miles from Potter's Bar, a little bit under now. I'm trying to remember where I think after Potter's Bar there's Welwyn Garden City, Nebworth, then Stevenage, if I remember correctly. But we're not stopping at any of those anyway, so it won't matter to us. But you can see Potter's Bar is now on the scrolling map below. When you're regulating your speed around about the speed limit, you do need to be careful that you're not on a down slope, because obviously you will start picking up speed and you might find yourself speeding before you realise it. So I usually like to leave a little bit of leeway just in case. This is Potter's Bar, so there's another 200 points for us because we've gone via Potter's Bar, and now we're heading for Stevenage, which is 14 miles away. So I thought Potter's Bar to Stevenage wasn't a tremendously long distance. So what, 6-7 minutes I guess at this speed, something like that, maybe a little bit over 7 minutes. So not very long, unless of course we come to a slower speed limit, or as I say, any red signals, when obviously that will slow us down considerably. Now we're supposed to be there about 6:10, and well, actually 6:11 is the time we're supposed to be there, and our ETA is 6:10 at the moment, so we're running about a minute early. So I'm not going to worry about keeping our speed right on 115, because I don't think that's necessary. So through another platform there, not sure where that was. Could have been Welham Green or Welwyn Garden City possibly. All around that area. Hatfield is around that area. Trains are almost running parallel to the A1, the major road. So it goes between sort of Hertfordshire, Hatfield, Welwyn Garden City area and up to Peterborough, and then beyond north. Goes right past Stevenage, so we're sort of following the A1 almost. For anybody who knows the area, that's sort of where we are. So as we come up towards Stevenage, we'll pass Nebworth. Nebworth's main claim to fame is Nebworth Park, where they have a lot of music concerts and stuff. Nebworth House is obviously at Nebworth Park. Now you can see below, if you look at the scrolling display below, you can see that we're going downhill, and we're going down the hill at a rate of 1 in 200, so not very sharply downhill, but downhill nonetheless. So I'm deliberately not accelerating too close to the 115, because I don't want to suddenly pick up speed and end up speeding and losing points. At the moment the speed is actually dropping slightly, so I'll give it a little bit of acceleration, but I'm not going to accelerate too much, as I say. Go to about 113, and then I'll take the acceleration off again and just let it coast along. Very nice train, I must say. Quite like driving this one. It's almost a bit like the Ice Express you get in Germany, the ICE. It's a very nice nice train as well. Very high speeds. Maybe we'll run one of those at some point. So another green signal. So at least we're not getting problems with signals. At least I should never say that, because you guarantee as soon as I say that we'll come across a red one, but at the moment we're okay. And we're 8.5 miles from Stevenage, so not going to be too much longer, but we're losing a bit of speed down. It looks like we're now climbing slightly according to that display at the bottom. So I'm going to give it a little bit more acceleration. I'm reasonably confident I won't end up going over the 115. We're still on target to be early. 6:11:44 appears to be the timetable arrival, and we're looking at 6:10:45. So almost, well, around about exactly a minute early actually. It's now is in fact exactly a minute early. Oh, we're speeding. You see what I mean? I think we got a slight downslope there, and before I noticed what was happening, we were speeding. But we only lost 6 points, so not major speeding, but still speeding. So really should try not to do that. To be honest, with practice on a given route where you know all the speed limits and everything, you can get to a point where, you know, you do know what's coming without needing to bother to look and so on, and that makes avoiding speeding a great deal easier. So I'm just going to leave it coasting to just take a look outside, so you can see. Well, I was going to say we're in the country, but there are a few houses around there. Look on the other side again, some houses, roads, station there. So, not completely rural. I never like to stay on the outside view for too long, because I guarantee while you do that, you will suddenly end up with a speed limit or something that you should have been reacting to. So it's not a good idea to stay on the outside view for too long. So it looks like we're coming into 125 mile an hour speed limit. Wow. Okay, well in that case, let's go for it. Even though we're going to be early. Oh, hang on a minute, we have a double yellow signal. So I'm going to start slowing a bit, because that suggests the next signal is yellow and the one after that could well be red. And given we're doing over 100 miles an hour, slowing down is going to take a while. So I'm going to err on the side of caution. Given that we are running early anyway, if it turns out that we've slowed down and we didn't need to, it's not going to be the end of the world for our timetabling. Let's see what this one is on. A double yellow again, so we've now got one more signal's grace, because the next one may be single yellow. The one after that will be red, and that's still 1.5 miles away, so I think we can probably risk going a little bit faster. You don't want to be going too quick once you see signals that are double yellow, single yellow, anything like that, because there is a chance that you may need to stop at a red coming up. It may be there's a train in front of us which has now gone through that signal, so we never actually will get to a red, but you never know. Not sure where that is. Can't actually. Does that say Nebworth? Not sure. Possibly. Very possibly actually, because we're only about 2.5 miles outside Stevenage. So I would think that probably was Nebworth. Given we are only 2.5 miles out and still nearly a minute early, I'm not going to worry too much about accelerating from here. I'm just going to basically let it coast and take us into Stevenage station pretty much without doing too much to it, unless there's any reason to. It does look like we've got a yellow signal coming up, so I'm going to be ready to acknowledge the alarm from the train protection warning system. There it is. Okay, so that is single yellow, which is a bit of a problem, because that means the next one may well be red. So start losing speed and make sure that if indeed it is red, we can stop safely at it. So if you pass a red signal, your scenario will come to a very sudden end in career mode, and it will say passed a signal at danger, game over, which we definitely don't want to happen. Now I can see, if you zoom in, you can see the signal down there does appear to be red, but it may change before we get there, and I think it has changed now to yellow by the look of it. But we're still on target to be over a minute early, so you know, the fact that we're running quite slowly is not really a problem. And we're coming up on Stevenage anyway. You can see on the scrolling display at the bottom now, Stevenage platform 3, our last stop. and hopefully we'll get another 200 points there, and that will take us to like about 790. I think the maximum on this scenario would have been 800, so 790 out of 800 is not bad. Not sure if it'll be enough for a gold medal, might be a silver. Depends, you know, exactly how tight they've set the scoring on this particular scenario. It's always nice to get your gold medals, but can't happen every time, unfortunately, not unless you practice the routes for a while. So if you guys have any routes you'd like me to try, or any particular trains you'd like to see, freight trains, passenger trains, whatever, do comment and let me know what you would like to see, and I'll see if we can do it. The vast majority of the scenarios from what I've seen do appear to be passenger ones, but there are some freight scenarios. And on the Donna Pass route there are scenarios running up to 3.5 hours, which obviously I wouldn't do all in one go. We would cut the video and come back and do more at a later point. Some very nice scenery as you go over Donna Pass. To climb very high up the mountain basically, and then back down the other side. So that's quite a challenging scenario, certainly. Oh, I hit emergency brake there for a second, didn't mean to do that. Okay, so I'm pulling to a halt, so that should be fine. Open the doors, take a little look outside. You can see people getting off. A lot of chatter going on, so I'm not sure if that's people chattering about the train or what. You can see doors are open back here. Doors didn't open on that first carriage. I wonder if that's because I've gone slightly too far down the platform, which means the passengers will have to walk down the interior to the next coach, so I apologise for that. Sorry passengers, you may have had to just walk through to the next door there, but not very far. So, oh, hello there. He's on his way into King's Cross by the look of things. We have indeed arrived early, so we're now waiting for that red bar to go across to, well, it almost meets the clock where it says 06, and oh, there we go. So well done, driver, you've managed to complete all your tasks successfully this morning. You're now scheduled for a short break. Lovely. Okay, so we should now get our score, and it's silver medal. That doesn't surprise me, but that's fine. We gained 788 experience points. So that was the 801 to Stevenage from King's Cross, and next time we'll have a look at another route. Okay, take care guys. Bye now.